Hey there, guys. I'm here with my Money in the Bank 2024 predictions. Overall, I do think it will be a good Money in the Bank. But one thing to note is if you look at the poster, it does have Jey Uso on it. And that's something to note because he is at the men's Money in the Bank match, which we'll get into my prediction later. But yeah, that's just kind of weird that they're going to kind of hint at him winning. Not saying that I'm predicting him winning or anything. Just, it's something to note. It was also revealed that Trish Stratus will be the host of the show, so that'll be very cool. First off, let's start off with the women's Money in the Bank. And for my prediction, I'm down to two people. That is, of course, Chelsea Green. People have been saying that she should win the Money in the Bank for a while now. Like, literally at last year's women's Money in the Bank, everybody was saying next year it's going to be Chelsea. So she's the fan favorite for many, but I also think Tiffany Stratton is also a big, big possibility. I just think Lyra Valkyria is still too young. Well, she's not too young. I mean, her and Tiffany are right there at each other. But Tiffany's just been pushed a different way. I feel like Lyra's not quite there yet, but she will be. Zoe Stark just hasn't been pushed as a possibility. Naomi, honestly, I don't know if she'll ever get something big like that ever again in her career. And it does suck, but it's just she's had her time, and there's a lot of more rising stars now. And then if you move on to probably the biggest name, I guess you could say, out of all of these, who was just your women's champion, and this is Io Scott. But I don't think that she should win because she won the women's Money in the Bank last year, cashed in successfully. That's great. But why should she win 2 years in a row? I don't think I love Io Scott, but she's not the type of name to win this 2 years in a row. I feel like it would be a lot less exciting than if it was somebody like Chelsea or Tiffy. But I do think it'll probably be a great match. You got the high-flying abilities of Io Sky, and we know Tiffy always has some cool moves to offer and some high-flying moves. So I think it'll be very good. And I mean, we know Zoe Stark is very good in the ring. Just everybody in this match is very talented. So they all do have a case for why they could be a possibility. But I'm down between Chelsea and Tiffy. Who am I going to pick between those two? So I am going to have to go with Chelsea Green, even though I would probably rather have Tiffany Stratton get the win. I think it just makes more sense for Chelsea Green to win. Just because, I mean, I feel like every time you hear the women's Money in the Bank on the show, there's Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green just seems like that's what they're going for. That's who they want to win. So that's what I'm going to have to go for with my prediction. So we do have no match order revealed, so you never know what's going to come next. But I am going to do, for the World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest versus the returning Seth Rollins. And Seth did come back a lot sooner than I really thought he would. So I hope he didn't just rush it. I hope he's actually safe to come back. I hope he will be fighting at 100% and will be able to move like he used to. Because I've said it before on the channel, I'd rather him take a long time off and come back better than ever rather than come back and be struggling. But for who do I think is going to get the win, I understand the case for both. I think it's a very hard to predict match. But I think I am going to go with Damian Priest. Seth really doesn't need it, and I think Damian can just keep his title run going so he can make it a better title run. I mean, it hasn't been bad by any means, but I do think it could be better. So my final prediction will be Damian Priest retaining. Next up, we got for the Intercontinental Championship, we got Bron Breakker taking on Sami Zayn. And Sami is still very early into the title run, but I never really see Sami holding it for that long anyway. I feel like he's more of a transitional champion just to get it off of Gunther, so Gunther can just go up to the main event. And so who's better to be your next champion than Bron Breakker? If it was my opinion on who I would let win, if I was booking it, I would let Bron Breakker get the win. It's Bron Breakker's time to shine. He hasn't been doing too much on the main roster other than really taking out people like Ricochet and stuff like that. But he hasn't had any major storylines until this one. So I really do hope they let him beat Sami. Plus, I think there's a high possibility that Sami Zayn gets involved with the Bloodline storyline. And so I hate when they have a champion being involved with another feud that's not related to their champion. It makes their title feel less valuable and like that it really doesn't matter. And we don't want that for the Intercontinental Champion. I mean, when Gunther was holding it, it was almost as prestigious as Roman's title, it felt like. So this is just absolutely perfect. I just do hope that they will pull the trigger and let Braun Breaker get this nice win to really kick off his main roster run, where we know that, all right, it is now Braun Breaker's time to shine. The big push that we see in him is starting right now. I see him being in the world title picture by next year. So my final prediction will have to be Braun Breaker. Next up, we got the men's Money in the Bank, and this one is very, very hard to predict. There's two that I know it won't be, and that's Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. But the other four, it's kind of just like a toss-up. I mean, it's like 25% for the others. Chad Gable makes sense. I mean, Chad Gable, we've just been waiting for him to get a very good moment. And now, would I do Chad Gable? I don't think so. If I was booking it, I feel like right now I would not have him involved with the Wyatt Six. There's no reason to have the Wyatt Six attacking him. But what I do know they will do is the Wyatt Six will probably attack him during the Money in the Bank match. But I wish they would just focus on Chad Gable versus Otis in a singles match. That's what makes the most sense. That's where the most storyline is. And that's what the fans want to see. That's what we care about. We were so excited that Otis was going to finally snap. He was finally going to turn on Chad Gable. And when it happens, it's thrown away. And now they're trying to get us to tune into the Wyatt Six, which is cool. I love the Wyatt Six. I would tune into him no matter who they attacked. It doesn't have to be Chad Gable. But let's move on to the next possibility. And we got LA Knight. LA Knight has been in the main event picture for a while now. He's had big-time storylines, but he's never got a big accomplishment yet. He's had these huge pushes and things like that to where we know he's ready for a big-time accomplishment, but there's no accomplishment on his resume that's really much to talk about yet. Last year, people were like almost 100% that he was going to win the Money in the Bank, but we were all wrong. It ended up being Damian Priest. So I think the time right now is his. He has no other side storylines that this would be interrupting if he did win it. And I just think it's the time for him. He deserves this big time push now. Then we move on to Drew McIntyre. And Drew McIntyre is probably the bigger name out of this. He would probably be the obvious answer. But I just don't think right now's the time. He's got way too many storylines going on right now to be worrying about the Money in the Bank, in my opinion. They're really going with that he's addicted to wanting to hurt CM Punk. So why would we have a side storyline from CM Punk when this is probably the biggest storyline in wrestling right now, in my opinion? It just really doesn't make sense. That is the match that we care about, not about him getting the world title. At WrestleMania season, yeah, we all cared about him becoming world champion. Sorry, the neighbors are still doing fireworks, even though it's July the 5th now. But whatever. But so, yeah, for this, I don't know. I don't think the time is now for CM Punk to win the Money in the... I'm sorry. Now, I meant Drew McIntyre to win the Money in the Bank. Now, there is another possibility, though. I do think it's possible that CM Punk may come out there and cost Drew McIntyre the match. He may throw him off the ladder just to add to the storyline. If that happens, I'm all for it. That's very, very smart of them. But will they do that? I don't know. And then you got main event Jey Uso. Now, like I was saying at the beginning of the video, he's on the poster. They're talking about Yeet in the Bank and all that. So it's like they're basically telling us that he's going to win it. But at the same time, I don't think it should be him, and I don't think it will be him. I'm a big fan of Jey Uso. Don't think any different. But the thing is, I don't ever see him winning a world title. I don't know. It doesn't make sense for him to win a world title in just my eyes. I don't see him as a world champion. And so not only that, he's also got the bloodline storyline that's happening right now. It is pretty obvious that people are going to side with Roman Reigns. Why wouldn't we have the obvious choice being the Usos? And you can't have the Usos without Jey Uso. So I think Jey Uso's got to get involved with the bloodline. Even though he's over right now, like extremely over, I'm still not liking the run that he's on right now. Everything that he did with the bloodline was way better than his face yeet gimmick that he's going on right now. So why don't you put him back where he's best? Put him back with the bloodline storyline. So yeah, I do think probably the fan favorite pick, what everybody thinks it's going to be, it's probably going to be different than mine. But I'm definitely going with LA Knight. Like I had said earlier, I have no idea what the card order is going to be. So I don't know what the main event's going to be. They could do the women's Money in the Bank. They could do Seth and Damian. They could do the Bloodline match that we're about to talk about. And we could do the men's Money in the Bank. So there's just a lot of different things that are definitely main event worthy. So yeah, the other matches are cool, but this is what I'm looking forward to. This is the storyline that I care about the most. You've got the undisputed champion Cody Rhodes with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens taking on the New Bloodline. Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and there for a little bit we really didn't know if it would be Tonga Loa or Jacob Fatu. Of course we knew the whole time it was probably going to be Jacob Fatu, but now tonight on SmackDown they literally just confirmed it. That it will be Jacob Fatu, which is great. It's Jacob Fatu's WWE debut. Just glad to see him in the WWE. And this match could be huge. Yes, the match itself will probably be good. But that's not what I'm worried about. I really don't care about that. I don't care about the storyline that's going to be behind this match. Who knows? If Roman doesn't debut later on SmackDown, because at the time of filming this, SmackDown's still not over. It's like halfway through SmackDown. I just got it muted while I'm watching it. Roman may have still not debuted yet. So this could probably be a great place to have him debut. I mean, it's a PLE, of course, but I don't know if they're going to wait until after this. I really don't know. I think somebody's probably going to get involved. It's just the matter of who it's going to be. Keep in mind, it could be that Hikuleo or whatever his name is. I think one of the other brothers to Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga was supposedly signed by WWE, so we're eventually going to get him. I guess it might be now. I still kind of wish they wouldn't sign him. I don't know. I feel like you don't really need him. You didn't need Tonga Loa. I don't think you need him. But then there's also some more rumors that they signed Zilla Fatu. So we could see a Zilla Fatu debut. I think both would be very cool. But I also think it would be very, very cool if we got Roman Reigns, The Rock, somebody like that to show up. I mean, Paul Heyman might come out there. You just really never know. There's so many possibilities. They're really hyping up this storyline. Everybody's excited, including me. So this is kind of what I think. Me thinking that something at least is going to happen. At least something. For Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens to win, I think Roman would be the one to come out and get them the win to take on the New Bloodline. But then for Solo Sikoa's team, of course, the New Bloodline to win, I think you would have to have either Zilla or Hikuleo or The Rock to debut for them to catch the win. So those are the two scenarios I'm kind of with. Of course, WWE is always giving us surprises, so I could be way off. So then I gotta just think which one of those scenarios is most likely to happen. And so I am going to say that Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton are going to get the win. Some people are going to say, why would Jacob Fatu lose his debut? Come on. I mean, it's a 6-way tag match. There's going to be chaos. It's not like any Bloodline match has ever been fair, no matter who wins it. So I'm going to go with the team of Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. That's my final prediction. And I'm just so excited for this match. So those are my 2024 Money in the Bank predictions. I hope you all enjoyed the show because I'm very excited for it. I think a lot could go down, and I'll see you guys on the next one.